Just a quick video on exercise progressions and how your progressions will change depending on the level of athlete or client that you have. This started off because I've been seeing a ton of people in the gym doing absolutely terrible single leg RDLs and not ready for it. And there's always got to be progressions in place depending on the type of athlete you're working with or if it's a general population. So starting with there, we've got main goals of a general population client, a general pop client. Look good, strength, feel better, move better. So someone that needs movement competency, I can simply change, intensity and volume to provide progressive overload and variation within a movement to tick off all these goals. So a simple to complex progression is very easy to get more advanced through the exercise variations. And to begin with, we can start with a pull through or a kettlebell RDL. We could then advance it to a trap bar RDL. We could then advance it to a barbell RDL, to a split stance RDL, then to a hand supported, so you're holding onto something, single leg RDL, then you can take away some of that support and get down to a single leg RDL. And it's a simple to complex model where you're going from a more stable, easy variation, and then you're making it more unstable to a single leg RDL, and you're providing variation throughout those progressions to tick off all these different exercises, all these different goals that a general population client wants. Okay, I want to run you quickly through some hinge progressions for, say, a well-trained, an athlete that's not, really high level, but yeah, intermediate athlete. Let's say a pre-season period. Anatomical adaptation, different phases, hypertrophy phase, strength phase, power phase. I prefer using a vertical integration method. So even though these are phases, these are the things that we're focusing on in each phase, but we're always keeping a thread of all different qualities. So even though, say during the strength phase, we'll still be keeping qualities of hypertrophy and power, but this is the thing we're working on. Now, obviously these athletes have a lot better movement competency, so we don't have to worry about the progressions as before. So during an anatomical adaptation phase, I'll be using something like a single leg RDL with a higher rep range. That way we're working on balance, we're working on imbalances, and we're ironing out if there's any deficiency from your left to right. Okay, and we're ticking off these goals. So this exercise fits these goals with a high rep scheme. Your second phase would be hypertrophy, where you can do a split stance RDL. So if you look for here, from these three exercises here, we're going from less force, low force, and we're coming down to high force here. And split stance RDL, you can work the 8 to 12 rep range, and you're working on hypertrophy. In your next progression, you can do a double leg RDL, where the reps are lower again, so we're producing more fillers. And then your next hinge progression would be a banded kettlebell swing, where you're producing a lot of velocity and power. So we're going from lower force to higher force, and then we're going into a power phase. Because these guys can move a lot better, and then we're targeting the exercise to fit the actual goal of each phase. Okay, just a quick progression on something I do with more advanced athlete. Obviously, I've talked about triphasic approach in the past. Working on different contractions, produce different adaptations, which can overall lead to better athletic development. So for an eccentric, progression, and a lot of this stuff comes from Dr. Angus Ross. We'll have a slow eccentrics to begin with. So before we do any of these eccentrics, you want to have, just general lifting before, like a GPP phase. So say if we're using a hinge progression, I'll be doing like a single leg RDL. We go slow, sub-maximal. You could do like a razor curl with band assisted and do it really slowly, so it's not super maximal. From there, you take away the band, you do super maximal razor curls. Okay. The next phase then would be like a fast eccentric, and that could be like a kettlebell with a band to overload the eccentric phase to be really quick. And then we could do ballistics, where we could do like we have weights, drop down into a jump, drop the weights, jump as high as we can, or we could do depth jumps and things like that. So you've got slow, sub-maximal, eccentrics, super maximal, eccentrics, fast eccentrics, ballistics, eccentrics, and the goal there is to increase your mechanical function, eccentric mechanical function, increase your faster muscle phenotype, decrease your muscle tendon stiffness, and all of this results in a right shift of the force velocity curve. And that's obviously some of Dr. Angus Ross's work, obviously some calories mixed in. That would be more for an advanced athlete, looking at eccentric side of things. I won't go into ISOs and that, but I just wanted to show you different progression models depending on what type of athlete we're looking at, from a general pop to intermediate athlete to a more advanced athlete, and something to think about. Thank you.